Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. His brother Ryan want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Mashiach, Malak Yahushua. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body a living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that are not out there as of yet, but building themselves up, reading, praying, fasting, right, doing everything they could do to put themselves in a position to go out there to shake the hand, to wake up the hopeful elect. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty akwaf in this thing, right, that actually sincerely reverence their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home, being quiet, shamefaced, submissive, loving, steadfast, cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous acts for our foremothers, on fire for the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty akwaf that are not married as of yet, but building themselves up, reading, praying, fasting, doing everything they could do to be shamefaced and submissive, helping the ministry. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty children in this thing, man. Right, abstaining from all lust, concupiscence, and peer pressure, standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. And last but not least, another strong shalom. You understand, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, reading, praying, fasting, doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, magnifying his name in the last days. Right, this is going to be a in-depth breakdown on smoking weed, right? The addictions and the truth and origins behind it. See, a lot of Jake don't understand how evil things are. So we had to be introduced of how evil Christmas was, how evil the New Year's were, the origins of Halloween, right? The origins of Easter, of this world and how they portray it and the things that they indulge in. See, the more knowledge you obtain and know, the more wicked this world becomes. The more blind you are, you don't care, you're nonchalant, you're going with the flow, right? You're getting swayed to and fro. You're really just not giving a damn about anything. You're fulfilling your lust, right? The more you're going to be blind, the more you're going to be led away captive by doctrines, philosophies, mentalities, demons, right? And most importantly, drugs, man. See, drugs and idolatry go hand in hand. See, a lot of people don't know that they're breaking the first commandment. And the first commandment is you should have no other gods before Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's not talking about just Caesar Borgia painted upon an idol upon your wall, man. Or a big painted portrait all the time. See, an idol, you can make an idol a man. You can make an idol your woman. You can make idol TV shows, binge watching. You can make idol any pleasure that you have that you put above the Heavenly Father. How many people put smoking, drinking, sex, idolatry, lewdness, their pleasures, right, and the things that they love and their hobbies and pastimes above the Most High? So you have to perceive the wickedness of Satan. Satan doesn't always come as a woman. It's not always going to hit you as that man. It's not always going to hit you as that job, right? It's not always going to hit you to think the way you think Satan is going to hit you. See, Satan is going to befriend you, man. Let me share my screen. Let's dive straight into it, man. Let me get this quick precept. And give me a strong con, right? If you can see the screen. We diving straight into it through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, the righteous. Let's go to the mighty book of Second Corinthians, the 11th chapter. It's the book of Second Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 13. For such as false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Yahweh Shah. So when Paul was getting on the church of Corinth and reproving them, right, for them lusting after other teachers and strange doctrines and glorifying men in the work that they did, Paul had to insert himself saying, you know what, I work hard too. I'm really an apostle. I really do the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, I am handpicked and is a chosen vessel. See, these men, they transform themselves into the apostles of Yahweh Shah. And that's a lot of your favorite camps, a lot of your favorite teachers, right? A lot of the Christian church. It's a lot of deceivers in the last days. It says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light, right? And what is this really talking about in context? It's talking about these false apostles that bewrayed and tricked the whole church of Corinth. Think how sly, cunning, smart. You understand, they knew etymology. They had to know the Hebrew. They knew the Greek. They knew how to teach long hours. They probably held 1,000 councils, had nice outfits on and fringes. You know, just because somebody comes in an image of something doesn't mean that it's good for you, man. See, weed comes in a spirit of relaxation, fun, enjoyment, A long day, you need something to knock the dust off, man. You kick your boots up. See, Jake looks forward to going home to enjoy himself, man. Whether that's a beer, whether that's the bottle, whether that's your woman, whether that's playing a game, whether that's watching a big sports game, whether that's smoking weed. Your mind is looking forward to something to knock off this stress that isn't the Lord. That's why you don't go as hard in the Lord as the elect does. See, the elect is going hard. They're not putting off day to day. They're not in a spirit of delusion, in a spirit of, foolishness, man, and a veil upon their eyes. They're sober. And when you're sober, you feel pain, man. See, a man that got hurt and got back problems and he gets drunk, he's not going to understand the pain that he's actually in. Right? When your wife and your house is out of order, your husband is out of order, and you get drunk, it's not going to take away the pain. It sedates you, man. It copes you for the moment. And that's what Jake's problem is, man. Instead of understanding and going through the pain as a stoic, being strong in the Lord, understanding that this is why he put you in this situation, man. See, the Lord put you in these situations so that you may go harder in the spirit, not through Satan's crafty devices and transforming themselves, right? By comfort and delight and relaxation, forget the position that you're in. Let's dive into it. Let's go to First Corinthians. Let's go to the classic, right? And a lot of people may say, well, I don't see it in the law. Well, I don't see it in the Torah. I don't see it. But we're going to dive into it. We're going to show you these things, man. See, everything isn't written for man to understand it as he deems to receive it. It's not going to say certain things is carnally written out the way you want to have it. But yet, the Lord does give you statutes. The Most High gives man discretion, wisdom, judgment. He shows you the spiritual things as angels, demons and spirits, delusions. These things don't manifest out of nowhere. It's through devices like the TV, through anger and arguments, through getting drunk, through smoking weed, through smoking crack, sniffing heroin. These spirits come about by you dwelling amongst the unclean in the world, by traveling through, you understand, visiting your dead grandmother that's in the third heaven. And you wonder why you just can't stop thinking about your uncle now. And now you're mourning, you're crying because you went to the graveyard. These spirits hop on you, and man can't perceive it because they're not spiritual. This is the book of First Corinthians, chapter 3, and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of Yahweh? See, we read this all the time, but we don't know how deep this precept actually is, man. If you're the temple of the Most High, then what could go inside of the temple? When you breaking it down on a law type level, who can go inside of the temple? The priests. The only smoke that was inside of the temple was the frankincense and myrrh. There was nothing polluted inside of the temple. There was nothing wicked inside of the temple. There was nothing that could even get past the gate to go tread before the court to the brazen lever, right? To the four corners of the altar, way before you even get inside of the tabernacle of witness, before the second veil to the holiest of all. If you weren't unctioned, if you weren't holy, right? And if you weren't chosen. See, we treat our bodies like we don't give a damn, huh? You beat yourself up. And I have tattoos, but I had them in the world. And what did I do to my body? I took a slug hammer and I beat the temple of the Lord down, man. Brothers getting in fights. Brothers not taking care of their health. Brothers feeding themselves anything of this world. Not trying to have a good, proper diet. Like these things slowly deteriorate and beat down your body. Your body's the temple of the Most High. Where the Most High dwells, man. See, if this thing was manifest on a physical level, you would take a whole lot more care of it. It says, and that the spirit of Yahweh dwelleth in you. If any man defile the temple, how can you defile the temple? By fornicating. You could defile the temple many of ways, by tattoos, by doing drugs, overly getting drunk, and neglecting the fire that's deep down within you is defiling your temple, man. See, when you defile it, let's go into that word, right? We're going to dive into it, right? Let's go into that word in the Greek, right? Defile, right? And a lot of people, they defile their temple on the daily. And that's the most sacred thing we have, right? Salaki, bear with me. It's the word defile. right? It says to pine or waste, just wasting away your body, not treating it properly, right? To shrivel, wither, to spoil by any process. You're spoiling a good understanding the Lord gave you and letting all of your talents go to waste. Moral influences, check that out, man, right? Whether physical or figuratively, right? Corrupting self, defile, destroy. So you destroy your body when you do these things, man. And a lot of brothers, you know what their problem is, why they do that is because they're lukewarm. A lot of people don't do the things that they ought. It's not because they don't want to, not because the spirit isn't telling them to. We know the spirit. Everybody has a conscience. We know what we ought to be doing through the spirit, but it's that lukewarm demon that's riding upon you, man. It's you not fearing the Most High like you should. You not understanding the judgments of doing these things. Right? Let's dive into it. Right now, the origins of cannabis, right? When you actually go into it, says the oldest known written records of cannabis used comes from the Chinese Empire. Some links would say the Japanese, some links would say Chinese. And they use the origins of cannabis for hemp. And expressly when they started to use it, they use it for clothing, for building, right? For different housings. And they use this hemp and this material for strength, like bamboo, like certain things like that. But it started and it originated what they would say right in Asia, right? The Chinese Empire. Shing Nun in 2727 BC, ancient Greeks and Romans were also familiar with cannabis, while in the Middle East, use spread throughout the Islamic Empire to North Africa. But it says nothing about Israel in here, man. It says nothing about you. Our origins aren't weed smokers. Our origins aren't getting drunk, right, and being drunkards. Our origins aren't the things that these nations indulge in, right? Now, when you actually go into it, what happens when your lungs, right, when you smoke? So we're going to break this down with the world would say on a scientific level so you can see how it's destroying your body. Now, some may pose, well, we get drunk, people drink. See, from the time you drink, things can exit your body in a matter of 24 hours. But see, weed stays in between 24 to 30 plus days. It's chemicals that are going down in your body. It's not just what you think it is. Now, it says what happens to your lungs when you smoke. You have something called the air sacs, right? It says smoking destroys the air sacs in your lungs, which are responsible for exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide. This can lead to shortness of breath. So when you actually go into air sacs, right, it's called the alveoli, right? And every brother may or may not know what that is, but it says alveola. These tiny sacs are where the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide take place, right? When the air you breathe and the blood in your caterpillars, man. So this is the rain when you start to exhale and inhale, right? Breaking it down on a scientific level, it destroys this. A filtering system to help you filter out things that are clean and things that are not clean when it goes in and out of your body throughout your lungs. And it breaks down your breathing process. And it starts for you to trip out and have hard breath likes, and it creates symptoms and demons. It says lungs while drinking liquor versus smoking. While both smoking and drinking alcohol can negatively impact lung health, right, excessively, smoking is significantly worse for your lungs as it directly introduces harmful chemicals into the airways. Now, these harmful chemicals, as a lot of brothers may look at it, oh, it's just THC. I'm sure the average Jake mind would directly just go to THC. See, there's a chemical that is in weed that is not natural to smoke, and there are pesticides, and there are crystals, and there are things when you actually go into it that they are making, just like they're making chicken. They are making beef. They are pumping things into this defiled meat that we eat, man. Everything isn't grass fed. You have chemically made weed. You have chemically created certain things that are 7 times, as they say, and 14 times stronger than an average grown nugget that somebody would have in a farm. Chemically making it one of the most important things that they are selling now, made legal in America, man. When you go into the statistics, they say about 35 million Americans smoke daily. It says causing more immediate and severe damage compared to alcohol. So you would think that alcohol can destroy you more, but weed can, which permanently affects lung function. See, a lot of things with a broken bone, you could go get surgery, you could get help. See, when you internally damage your nerve system, your shrooms, and different things of the blood flow, it's hard to clean that up. By impairing the immune system, increases susceptibility into infections like pneumoma. And so lock it for the pronunciation. I want to dive into that word. So it says it creates infections like this word right here. Now, what is this word? Just from smoking and defiling your lungs, right? Pneumonia symptoms, coughing that may produce filament or pus and may be greenish, yellow, or bloody. See, when people smoke, they always spit. You ever notice that when people smoke, they always spit and it's drying out your mouth, giving you cotton mouth? It's actually creating symptoms. See, people don't look at these symptoms. They see a lot of yeah, that's that gush, man. Past that, man. Right? The more you cough, the more you hold your stomach, the more you spit, right? The more your lips black, the more you about to pass out and get sleepy, the better the weed is, and the more they want it, man. Not understanding that you're slipping into symptoms. It is not just one symptom. They have thousands of symptoms from smoking weed. And weed isn't just weed anymore. You have blueberry, you have Zy, you got loud, you got this, you got that, you got OG Kush, you got bubbleberry, you got all of these strands, so-called, out of nowhere. If weed is natural, it would be impossible and preposterous to think that somewhere in the earth there is a blueberry, there is a pineapple, there is a damn tomato flavor. I mean, Jake don't even care. They don't even ask questions no more. Where these pills is coming from? Where this weed is coming from? How many hands did it slap? How many tables was it broken down on where dust was scraped in to a Ziploc bag, man? How many pesticides were sprayed on it? How many people have mixed things together, right? Together to make what they call that potion that they giving you, man. It says chest pains, sharp or stabbing. See, in the world, they would call that having a loud attack, man. I remember I was in the world where I remember like it was yesterday, unfortunately, but it was his brother. He was coughing, he was smoking, and he was coughing, and he was coughing up like coughing up a storm, man. Like he was about to die. Like they say, coughing up a lung. He was and the more he breathed in the cough, the more like his chest pain started to increase. He started holding himself and he started to slip into some. Now I could perceive he had lesions on him. Now I can perceive the pneumoma, or however you pronounce this, and these other symptoms that we're going to go into scientifically, what they call these things, right, was happening to this man. And the man that literally saw this happening to him, you know what he said? Hey, he's just having a loud attack. It's just a loud attack. That's what they called it in the world, man. At least where I was from, around my way, they say it's just a loud attack. Oh, that's good past that, man. The bigger the cherry is, the more red, the more it draws you in. It says other symptoms: fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, man. Look at that. Now it's affecting your bowel movements, your vomiting, you're nauseous. And one thing about smoking is it makes you moody, man. It makes you extremely moody. See, brothers, in WFI and or other camps and brothers abroad that do the work of the Most High, we didn't crawl out of, the tabernacle of witness, man, and just start teaching. Brothers came from dark origins. We had a lot of brothers, they was in gangs, they was locked up, got charges, pending and or, right, open, some shut, right? Brothers are the same men, right, like you read about in the scriptures, that came from Nazareth, man, the hood. And when we seen and witnessed these things, we've been through them, a lot of them, huh? I've been nauseous in the past, but not smoking. I've had a loss of appetite. Now the chills and shakings, I never had that personally. Not to take away from brothers that do, man. Rapid pulse, right? Rapid breathing, right? Confusion. You're slipping into a damn coma, man. These are the symptoms, right, of what they would call pneuma, right? And Salakia for the pronunciation again. Let me get this quick precept. See, the Lord spoke a lot about afflicting pain upon yourself and taking good care upon yourself. And men don't do that. They love the wows and the evils of this world more than they do the Most High. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse number 12. Seek not death in the era of your life. Meaning, don't try to cut yourself, kill yourself, destroy yourself. Don't beat yourself down by depression. See, when you read the scriptures like in Tobit, right? Tobit's wife, she starved herself because of Tobias. I don't want to eat until I see my son again. But that's not wise. Not that she was seeking death, but she's pulling upon her life destruction. And that was a righteous woman. See, when people get spirits on them, they tend not to want to talk. They tend not to take care of themselves. That's why when people are radiant, they went to the gym, right? They got what they call revenge, and they lost that weight. They feel good. They glowing about themselves. You could tell when somebody taking care of themselves, man. You could tell when somebody actually cares. You could tell when somebody doesn't care about themselves. The appearance. It says, and pour not upon yourselves, right, destruction with the work of your hands. See, the work of your hands is taking drugs, beating yourself down, not taking care of yourself as you ought to as an Israelite, man. Now, let me go into this. It says, what is the relationship between cannabis use and mental health? So you have a mental health aspect behind it. It says frequently or heavy cannabis use can be linked to problems in cognitive functions, man. Right? Meaning daily functions of the body that you do daily, like learning. And if anybody's ever smoked weed or is battling smoking weed, it's hard to grasp precepts. It's hard to remember things. You tend to be failing in class, right? And I remember when I was in school a long, long time ago, right? I used to smoke. And I used to have this white boy do my work for me, man. Right? And I didn't care. I didn't proofread what he did. I didn't say, well, you know what? This ain't right, man. Go fix that. Slap him in the back of the head. I didn't do any of those things, man. Right? I made him do my work. And he gave me the work. I didn't even know if it was right. He could have been writing anything on there, man. Right? He could have said my worldly government name. Yeah, Araya is I am writing his work out for him in exchange for XYZ. He's giving me something, right? That's green, right? XYZ. And he could have been snitching on me the whole time. You know what I did? I took that and I turned it in. I didn't care. I didn't grasp learning. You have a self like not like a lack of drive when you smoke. It pulls you away from how sharp you could actually be. When I look back how slow I was, and I'm beating myself up, throwing myself under the bus, how much I didn't do what I ought to, right? I probably could have went to college. I could have prevailed in many of ways. Not that I'm trying to excel in this world, right, through the wisdom of man, but just to better my life as an early age. I had a lack of drive. Peer pressure is extremely important, man. Learning, memory. All you brothers that want to grasp precepts, right? That doesn't happen easily, man. It takes a lot of repetitive, right? A lot of dedication. It takes a lot. This is a lifestyle. In order for a boxer to know how to duck immediately in motion and fluently, knowing his opponent's movement, all comes by what? Experience. It comes by drive. It comes by dedication. They're always in that gym. See, some people can ask you a question and you automatically think in the 3, 4 to 5 precepts, man. Attention. Can't pay attention to anything. And a lot of people that smoke weed that are in school often pop Adderall so that they can stay attention. Process speeding perpetually, motor functions, and language. It says some evidence as linked cannabis use to early offset the phimosis in people with genetic risk factors and scientific disorder, including syphilia, salakia for the pronunciation, schizophrenia. Now, when you look up this word, because it's linking men and women that smoke, right to this. Now check this out. Is a chronic mental illness that affects a person's ability to think, feel, and behave normally, man. So you wonder in the world why you had these things and these mood swings, and maybe I just need to smoke, man. I need to smoke. That's just I need to smoke, man. What a gas at, man. Right? Jacob called me, I'm woofing, man. I need who got it, man? Who need it? Standing out the liquor store, who want it? Right? It says a chronic mental illness that affects a person's ability to think. You can't even think for yourself. You got these spirits thinking for you and moving you and thinking for you, making you paranoid, having you not think properly, having your thoughts all over the place, right? It's affecting your mood and your feeling, right? You're not happy, right? All of these different things. So, like, Salakia, right? Going back to it, right? It says think, feel your emotions, and behave normally. So you can't even behave yourself normally. You're acting outright. It says people with schizophrenia may experience hallucinations, right? You know what they call that? A lot of people that smoke, they often have what's that something where it presses you down while you sleep and you're wide awake. Forgot the name of it. If brothers know it, they could put it in the chat. Where you can't move, right? You're full aware. It says delusions, disorganized thinking and speech, and difficult with concentration. This is actually a mental illness. And you just think he's just a thug, man. You wonder why he skipped class so much. Because he's an idiot. He doesn't want to learn. He can't learn. His mind is pushing him to this drug that has him to feel and think a certain way. That's like being inhabited by a host, right? And the water, sleep paralysis. The water for putting that in there. That's like a host leeching on to you. And this is a lazy host. This is a host that don't give a damn about life. A host that barely want to eat. And if he does eat, he got the munchies, right? This is a host that is unsuccessful in life and doesn't care about your own family, your mother, your father, your family, that will rob, that will steal to get his fix. It says disorganized thinking and speech and difficult with concentration and memory. They may also have reduced emotional expression, right? Meaning they don't really care too much, man. Somebody bought them something. Thanks, man. Right? No, nothing on their mind get them excited, but getting a zip, but getting a QP, but getting a 3.5, getting a KD. Reduce motivation and difficult in social relationships, man. Right? So what does that mean? That means you're reduced to that circle of weed smokers. You're not hanging out with successful people. You're not caring about your future, the words of the Most High. You have a lack of motivation for every and anything. Difficulty in social relationships, man. So until you smoke and get high, right now you feeling yourself. Now you more able to talk. Now you more loose. Now you able to go to that party in that club, man. But when you don't smoke and you don't get that fix, and these spirits, right, of schizophrenia and all of these different things are on you, right? What they would call you socially disparate. It's like you're distant. You're socially distant. You barely want to talk on the phone. You're moody, right? These are these spirits that are on you, man. Let's go to the mighty book of Second Esdras. It's the book of Second Esdras, chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse number 18. It says, and now when I prepared the world, right, the Most High, which was not yet made, even for them to dwell in that now live, no man spake against me. So no man spake against the Most High God, right? For then everyone obeyed. But now the manners of them which are created in his world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed, and by a law which is unsearchable, rid themselves. See, the Lord said, before I formed man, no man spake against me. See, angels don't smoke weed. There were no wickedness and devices done of the creation of the Heavenly Father through Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. See, but when the Lord started to create man, what did the Lord say? It says, which are and created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed, meaning man wax evil. He continues to grow in more wickedness and pearls and devices and iniquity. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were coming to it. So how does the world wax more wickedly, man? Yeah, it wax more wickedly through politics, wax more wickedly through laws being pushed and decrees being passed, but devices are entered into this world, man. Crack, cocaine, new forms to get high, right? Superman pills, Xan bars, Percocets, Oxycontin, weed, Reggie, loud. These things affect our people. These are the devices that are coming into the world. That's what makes you insane. That's what makes you slothful. That's what pushes the narrative of the Negro man. These are the devices that is pushed in this world, man. Right? Now let me get this real fast. A little bit more on this. It says while people with mental health disorders and related symptoms are most likely to use cannabis, many factors that influence mental health, right? So you have genes, trauma, stress. See, the same things of trauma and stress that can exude, right? Mental illness could also come from weed. Now, check this. This is the history of cannabis. Like I said, it's really from the Chinese or originated them from their hemp use and the Japanese, but I wanted to touch on something, ancient uses, right? Hemp is one of the earliest plants to be cultivated. Cannabis has been cultivated in Japan, right? Now I want to dive right here. It says 14% of Hindu holy men surveyed, and especially those from the Nagaset, believe cannabis to have been used by the Hindu god Shiva and has been part of Hindu practice and culture. Meaning what? You're opening up your third eye. You're glorifying these different creatures, these elephants. You're opening up your chakras. The smoke and the hemp is creating demons to enter into you. It's nothing more than a portal, man. You're opening up a portal when you smoke weed. You're giving your mind the opportunity to go places it'll never be. It never been, man. You take too much weed smoke and you're going to start questioning the things you know to be facts. If the world is a oh, damn, what was I about to say again? Oh, yeah. If the world is made of water, my niggas can't swim. Everybody start laughing, man. And the whole room starts spinning around. Everybody giggling, right? Everybody snickling, right? You laugh. You don't even know what you laughing at, man. Here's somebody snickling in the corner with a hood on, man. Right? You just meet that spirits immediately hop on you. Then you start giggling. Your heart start beating. You don't know what the hell's going on, man. It says the Hindu god of Shiva, it has been part of Hindu practice and culture. See, going back, like I said, to the origins, they would use these things for clothing, right? Herb was created for food, not for the consumption to get high. And when you actually go into natural weed, you have to smoke a whole lot of natural weed for it to get you high. That's why the things that we used to smoke in the world and that people are smoking now aren't is not weed. It can't be. And we're gonna prove that. Now, this is right the history, right, viable source of marijuana. Right? It says this. The cannabis or hemp plant originally evolved in Central Asia. Like I said, you're going into Japan and Chinese. Before people introduced the plant into Africa, Europe, and eventually the Americas, meaning it was never for us, nor founded, nor something we did. Hemp fibers, right? Fiber was used to make clothing, paper, sails, and rope, and its seed were used as food. So when we look upon the earth and why the Heavenly Father has created these things, like we could read about, right, in the book of Genesis, 1 verse 29 all the way down, right, the book of Psalms, right, chapter 104, right, when you read all at verse 14 all the way down, and these other precepts that we go into, that validate these things. The physician in the book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 4 all the way down. It was created for food. It was created to help you. See, these things that the wicked turn into wickedness. Right, let me get that in Sirach. Get this quick precept. It's the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 42, right? In verse number 24. All things are double one against another. So you have the sun, you have the moon, you have old, you have young, you have Jacob, you have Esau, right? You have the wicked, you have the righteous. You have one thing against another. Meaning you have the true reason why the Lord created the pig, the shrimp, the crab, the lobster, the roach, right? The rat, the spider, right? The maggot. These things that clean, you understand, and are used for its purposes. You know, a pig doesn't bother you if you let its natural use exist. See, when you take it out of its natural use and chop it up and cook it, now you done defiled it and made it double to that which is in wickedness. See, the Lord didn't just create things that have one use just to tempt you on the earth. No, through wicked devices, evil suspicions, demons, and following these other nations, we got lured into these things. All things are double one against another, and he have made nothing imperfect. Meaning everything has its natural use for the Lord to have created it. You can't say, well, why did he do that? Now, why is he tempting me so? Why does the Lord do these things? Right, let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the mighty book of Ecclesiastes. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and chapter 29, right? And it reads, it says, lo, this only have I found, that Yahweh have made man upright. Meaning what? From the very foundation, you had prophets in the Garden of Eden. You had Adam, a righteous king, right? And nobleman that had wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that named all living things, man. We were created to be the image and glory of the Most High. See, the Lord created man in an upright position in mind, but they have sought out, meaning who would even think to take this, burn it, roll it, smell it, smell it, smell it, burn it, smell it, and rely? Who created these things? Who sought these things out, man? Who created these chemical things to, like a Zambar, to make you go to sleep? What lab was it created in, man? What Percocet and what these things that give you all this adrenaline? They have sought these devices out. They're not natural. And it goes against the use of the Heavenly Father. It says, but they have sought out many inventions. See, an invention is something you create. Invention doesn't just happen, man. A man can't say, I invented the lamb. Huh. Now roast it. Now you can't invent the lamb. It was already created by the Lord, man. But when you take this chemical, have this chart, you grab this, you burn this with fire, you wet it a little bit, you put a little bit of wax on it, you dip it and you roll it, you crunch it all up, use paper, then you roll it up another time in a leaf, right? Coca leaf, and then you put fire to it. That's an evil invention. That wasn't created by the Lord. You understand? See, certain things are natural, like yeast, grapes. These are natural things that the Lord from the very foundation gave you and told you and instructed you that you can and cannot do certain things, right? Let me get this real fast. Going back to this, I want to pull this up, right? It says, right, for clothing, paper, cells, rope, its seed were used as food, man. So when you going into this, let's look at hemp. People took this and they made clothes out of it. People took this, they made rope. They used it for food. You understand? You have hemp material and hemp fabrics. So the Lord didn't just create these things, to tempt you. I have you to feel like you're at your wit's end. Now, this is what I wanted to really go into, right? It says, this is addictioncenter.com. Stronger strands. Weed naturally creates over 100 compounds called cannabinoids, which is a sativa or indica. And I'm sure a lot of brothers know about sativa. Right? Sativa, so-called, give the light feeling, not that heavy. Then you have the indica that'll knock you out. Strains, the two main types of cannabis plants, right? THC, I can't pronounce this, right? I'm not even going to try, right? You have the THC, which is this right here. It says, and the cannabinoid, right? The CBD. Those are the two main, what they would call uh compounds that are in weed. It says popular components. These cannabinoids produce marijuana's signature sensation of relaxation, right? And euphoria, man. See, euphoria is a feeling that, man will probably get from sex. Euphoria is a feeling that is undescribable that, you know, for it to describe weed as euphoria is crazy. Right? I want to look up that definition real fast. A state, it's like a feeling or state of intense excitement, man. Just intently insightful. When the plug finally call you back, bring, bring. Right, you called them 4 times, man. I'm home. You still pulling up? Where you at? We good? Just leave it on the doorstep. Blew him up 1,000 times. He finally called back. Bring, bring. Right, knocking over stuff to get to your phone, and then you try to answer it all polite and calm. Hello. Right? Hey, I'm outside. Put your boots on, put your hood on, you rush down there, and you do your famous handshake, man. And you cuff it, and you going upstairs all happy, right? It don't matter what's going on downstairs, your dog barking, he ain't eaten 2 days, your baby crying, pamper full, house out of order, right? Neighbors complaining, but you go to your room and then you roll it up, man. You block out everything else, man. You block out your damn mother, you block out your father, and you get in that mood, man, of euphoria, man. And you get extremely excited. It says, in happiness, the euphoria of success will fill your desire to continue training, man. Look at this. Happiness, joy, delight, glee, excitement, animation, right? Heaven, paradise. See, when certain people smoke, they relax and they could be like, right? Like that evil spirit hop on them, man, of happiness, man. Right? See, the exact opposite of it is depression and misery, man. Right? Let me go back to this. Right? So you experience a phobia when you smoke and it relaxes you. Right? These are real words and studies that they have formed. Right? And it wasn't by just 3 people, man. I'm pretty sure these tests is over hundreds and thousands of people that have smoked and they've seen the same exact traits, meaning the same exact demons that happen to all of them. But it isn't like that necessarily when you drink. Yeah, I wish I drunk a little bit, man. Noah drunk. You have men that can drink righteously and have a good time. You drink with the Passover in measure, right? In wine. It says over the years, the rate of these active compounds has risen. In the 94, right, variations of the plant contained about 4% of THC. See, in the 90s, you might have been smoking real weed. Might have been. Right? But then Esau and his craftiness, Moab and Ammon, and these liquor stores, you never know. See, in the 90s, it was 4%. Today, the amounts have spiked, according to studies published by the National Library of Medicine. So these people, they study these things. It says the drug potency has tripled. The quantity of THC found in weed has soared from 4% to 12% only a few years, man. So now what they say, you getting that OG now. You getting that loud. See, I remember when I was younger and they was introducing these things, they had the Reggie. I don't know what they call it, where you from, but they called it the Reggie, right? The mid, right? You would smoke that, and that's what the old heads used to smoke. Then the young guys came around with the loud, and the old heads, man, what the hell is that, man? I'm not smoking that. Even the old heads knew that stuff too strong, and it had you coming right back. right back every 4 hours, every 3 hours, every 7 hours. You coming right back. Like you putting food in your body, man. Like you putting water, you understand, in your vessel. From 4%, 12%, there are even certain strands like cinnamonalia, seedless female hemp plant with 15 to 25 concentration rate, man. How do you go from 4% to 25%? Now, is it something that they're doing to it? It would have to be. Because if it naturally grows at 4%, you have to smoke a lot of weed and burn a lot of it in fields and consume a large amount to get high as these men, women, and children are doing today. But how is it spiking? That's what you should be asking yourself, man. How are these things happening, man? Let me get this quick precept. See, man doesn't read, he doesn't research, he doesn't care. All he wants is a feeling to escape the curses. Let's go to the mighty book, right, of First Corinthians, the second chapter. It's First Corinthians chapter 2 and verse number 12. Now we have received not the spirit, right, of the world. So Paul said, look, we don't receive the spirit of the world. The spirit of the world is to get drunk and get high, man. The spirit of the world is to do evil. It says, but the spirit which is of Yahweh. You think the Most High condones weed smoke? And you have a lot of men in Israel that's smoking weed and justifying it. You have a lot of wickedness in Israel, a lot of wickedness, man. And men that are heaping up teachers with itchy ears. It says that we might know the things that are freely given unto us of God. Meaning the Lord makes it manifest through the Holy Spirit what we can do and what we can't do. That's why you have a conscience and the Holy Spirit bearing you witness. See, I was talking to my wife earlier, and I was saying, everything doesn't have to be written out in the Bible for carnal man to see. It doesn't say don't beat your wife senseless in there. It don't say, notice, don't stand out, on some ice and a blizzard trying to balance with one leg, right? You'll hurt yourself. There's certain things that are unprofitable, that are evil, that are unwise, that are tempting, that are foolish. It's a lot of things that are manifest right by the spirit of the Most High. See, if the Most High were to write what not to do, you think it would be this short? You think the scriptures, as it is written, will be what we have, man? See, the Lord gives you laws, statutes, and commandments that we may live by. And going into it, see, these devices and these pearls weren't even introduced, those thousands of years ago, for it to even be written. That's why I went to second Esdras, because you have perilous devices rather, that were invented into this world. Before you had he, she's, and they didn't have that in the ancient world. The closer you would get is a eunuch. But they didn't have no surgery tables where this part was placed upon this man and this man was transformed to this woman. So it couldn't have been written because it was an ancient mindset and an ancient way we lived that was impossible by the craftiness, witchcraft, pharmaceuticals, and evils that have come into the world. It says, which things also we speak, not in words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. So how does the Lord compare things? Spiritual with spiritual. But the natural man, see, the natural man is a fool. Let me see where it say that at. And Jake always taking 17 damn puff. It's always it ain't just never a. See, when Jake was around my way back in the world, they used to smoke it 19 times, man. It's only so much little smoke you can even go in your damn lungs, man. You taking up all the air in the vicinity. It says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, meaning he can't grasp it. It's unknown to him. The more brute, carnal, and natural you are, the more foreign spiritual things will be to you. But they are foolishness unto him, neither can they know them because they are spiritually discerned, right? Meaning they're spiritually slow. They're spiritually not wise. They're spiritually lacking in a fool and dumb. And then they can't move toward the spirit of the Most High God. Right? So it's telling you that it didn't spike to 25%, right? And that's complete madness. Now, the health risks of stronger weed. Because of advanced technology and new technology, today's cannabis products, look at this. What do you mean technology? They are making this weed, man. You are not smoking weed anymore, man. God knows what you're smoking. And we're going to go into the what to look for. Not that you should be buying it and inspecting it, but the things that are on the streets, even they're coming out and telling you, by Addiction Center, right? By the Medical Life, compound.com and all of these different links and history.com and all of these, they're telling you that the stuff you're smoking is not real weed. It's spiked, it's introduced, it's given to you by technology. If that doesn't scare you and show you how much of an addict you are, to risk your life, to put something in your body that's destroying your temple, your mind, your spirit, having you to be slow to come to the Lord and forget the Most High daily, you have to really examine if you're really in this truth, man. It says because of advanced technology and new technology, today's cannabis products are insulating higher amounts of physical activity compounds. And according to a study published by the U.S. National Library of Medicine, right there you go to the National Library of Medicine, the stronger cannabis products is more likely a person to develop an addiction. See, when you smoked in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s, yeah, you were addicted, but it's creating addiction. This is your new modern day junkies. See, what happens is they put that on the street. They let you play with it for a little bit, and then they drop the pills on the street. See, nobody's going to really start smoking pills, breaking them up, putting it in your orange juice or putting it in your J that they say rolling up. Nobody's going to do that. But the more you crave a higher high, the more you see it more socially acceptable, the more those spirits are wanting more of a relaxation because you build up a tolerance, man. Anybody that's had a beer every single day will want 2 beers. Let that go on for 6 months straight. You're going to want 3 beers, 4 beers. Next thing you know, you drinking a 6-pack and you're functioning. You're a functioning alcoholic. And you're craving these things, consuming them in measure and weight that is beyond the natural consumption that you ought to be doing it. And you don't even realize. You have other people drinking a beer looking at you kind of sideways. It says an addiction. Roughly 1 in 10 adults who use marijuana become addicted, man. Addicted. Now this spirit has got you captive. It's working on your mind. It's captivated you and took you, right? Now, I wanted to get this real fast, right? If I could pull it up, right? Maybe, maybe not. It's all of the will of the Most High. Right? There you go through the spirit. That's the spirit, right? You have something called, and like I said, my pronunciation is horrible. So I'm going to just say CHS because that's right, the abbreviation. This is actually a syndrome, right? Cannabinoid hypermesis syndrome. Now, let's find out what this is because a lot of people, they have this when they smoke weed. But what is this, right? CHS syndrome, common symptoms, right, include nausea, often in the morning. Meaning what? You have to have your morning J. Repeat vomiting, right? Making sound movement vomiting. See, a lot of people, they try to vomit, right, when they don't eat and they don't smoke. And it beats up their insides. Fear of throwing up, loss of appetite. You're losing your appetite, man. But you're not yourself anymore. You done turned into somebody that you're not. And you're trying to figure out how you done got like this. It used to be fun. You used to do it recreational, like they say, just to have a good time. But now you're becoming dependent upon this strand, this demon, this weed, this mindset. This Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. See, when you're mad, David famed himself to be a madman, man, when you go into it. Now, what does it mean he will smite thee with madness? People talking to themselves, hating themselves, they're cutting themselves outside. They fighting with one another. They doing drugs in the back of a Walmart, having sex behind a trash can, a dumpster behind a CVS building. People just don't give a damn when they're mad. They're completely lost their, what they say, their mind, man. See, when David famed himself to be a madman, he was dribbling spit off his beard, probably crossing his eyes like this. He had to let this king know, hey, look, I'm not David. So when people are mad, they're not themselves. They're blind. They have astonishment of heart. And predominantly 90% of these cases come from drugs, come from addictions, mood swings, the perilous devices that were created up in this world. Now, let me get this real fast. CHS syndrome, always nausea, stomach pains, repeat vomiting, throwing up. All hell was breaking loose, man. Now, I want to get this real fast. And say in the comments if you could hear, right, the video or not. Just say La'a Okan, Baba Shah. Khan, let me know if brothers, can hear it through the spirit. Okay, Khan, all praise to the Most High. I'm gonna rewind it again. Now, this is what they call understanding addiction. This is this man and his personal testimony of how he used to move while he was smoking and the things and the effects that it worked on his mind. Look at him getting off, just getting off, licking his lips. This is that euphoria spirit, man. Laughing, twiddling his fingers. He can't stay still. He agitated. And you got to watch out for those so-called friends. Those are not your real friends. To want you doped up and high is not your real friend. Okay, brother saying they can't hear it now. Okay, well, I'm not gonna play this whole thing if you can't hear it. But the captions, they speak volumes. I started hanging out with people that didn't really like to work, man. Right? So it pulls you away from a worth ethic. It has you to have a careless like mind and an evil spirit that doesn't care about anything, man. Right, let me get this quick precept. All right. Let's go to the mighty book of Sirach. Let's go to the mighty book of Sirach. Right? This Sirach, I'm going to go to 38 in verse number 4. Right? And it reads, the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. A medicine is a healing agent created to remove bacteria, to cleanse blood flow, to create, a sense of medicine to heal your bones, to strengthen them. The Lord has created vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D. He has created certain things which people put in tea bags and different blends of herbs that help you to be more energetic, to think stronger, right? To have more of a sense of focus. See, these things weren't made of a relaxation to get high with. Says, was not water, Slakia, sweet with wood, right? And the virtue thereof might be known. And he that giveth men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works. So why is number 6 so important? Because people often read number 4, but they don't read number 6. Why does the physician have to be honored? What's honorable about plucking something and burning it? That's carnal. See, what a physician does in an apothecary is he sees what this herb does mixed with this herb to get this process of the bone, to get this process of you speaking better and clearing your throat. That takes a frivolous amount of time. Right? He's sitting up there, you maybe sweating. Okay, I just need one more. Maybe I need cloves. Let's try cloves with it. Let's try lemon. Let's try lime. That's why he needs to be honored, because he's coming up with what they would call medicine. See, when you look on the back of a medicine box, you have all these thousands of things to compound that pill. See, what a physician does is he does the same with the natural resources of the Lord. He'll take cinnamon, natural cinnamon, and what he does is he compacts together things that help heal your body. That's honorable, and such things should be praised by the Most High using this man to be able to do these things. That's why it's saying that. Not for you to read the words of life out of context, manipulate them, go off and commit sin and lewdness through your lust and temptation. Right? Let's dive into this. Now, you have chemicals that are sprayed on weed. If brothers didn't know, Tamaron, Filtalox, and Taminox, these are actual chemicals they're telling you that's sprayed on weed. Now, how do they keep a lot of these insects and worms and caterpillars and these things off of the weed? Is they spray it. And they have these large fields, these manufacturing plants. You understand? And they're spraying these things on your weed. Now check this out. Is Tamaron sprayed on weed safe? You know, I'm looking up everything. It says pesticides in cannabis pose unique risks compared to other products because smoking and vaping deliver chemicals directly to the lungs. Right? It's going directly to the bloodstream, directly to the lungs and brain. Up to 82% of pesticides in cannabis end up as smoked and inhaled into your lungs. 82%. So you're really smoking chemicals. And when brothers say you're smoking chemicals, you're smoking K2, you're smoking this, you're smoking that, you really are smoking chemicals. Yeah, it may be a light little bit sprayed on, but you know what? When it's dry by the sun and then somebody comes out and sprays it again, 3, 4 more times before the harvest, on top of the THC, on top of all of the new things they're melting together. And the Lord said, thou shalt not mix diverse seeds. You have a female, a male, you're doing all of these witchcraft in labs, creating these new strands, mixing males and females to come up with this color and this lifestyle and this strand. You mix a sativa together with indica. You're becoming a scientific madman, man. All for the sake of inhaling, right, a drug into your lungs. 82% of pesticides in cannabis end up as smoked and inhaled into your lungs. Some pesticides break down so like it break into toxic gases like hydrogen and cyanide when heated, man. So when you smoking these pesticides, it forms into toxic gases. And this they're just coming out and telling you. Plain upon table, they're telling you these things. How do I know, right, if weed has pesticides? So you may say, well, that's a gamble that I'm willing to take. You may be a Negro. Let's figure out how you can tell if these pesticides and these toxic gases are upon the weed. It says this. Look at the pot, right, under a magnifying glass. If ye see white crystalline powder, it is probably pesticide residue. And what weed nowadays doesn't have that crystalline whiteness about it? What weed nowadays don't look like this, man? What weed nowadays doesn't look like this? See, weed didn't used to look like this. It didn't used to have these white crisp. It was never looking. It's not natural. This is not natural. The oil that they put with it, the pesticides. Look at this. You thinking that's good weed, man? No, that's gases and toxins. See, a lot of Jake, they easily sold, man. You have to sell Jake. Look at that power. It's like a powdery mildew. This is mildew. It's not healthy for you to be smoking, man. But see, Jake don't know that, and they don't care. You tell Jake, man, I got the world's greatest. Right? Every week, every other week has a different name. Got the world's greatest. Got the big thump. Got to take your soul. Got the sleep, sleep. Got the good, good. Got the czar. Got this, got that. And you know what Jake do? They eat it all up. Trying all of these different strands. Let me look this up real fast. How many strands of weed exist? 700. 700 strands of weed. There are more than 700 different weed strands divided into three main categories. Now, come on. Are there 700 different types of potatoes and oranges? Are there 700 different types of cinnamon and things that are actually natural that the Lord actually created, man? Where are they being formed? In labs. They're breeding these things, coated with pesticides and mildew, forced in all neighborhoods and hoods. It says each strand has a unique characteristic. I mean, you look on the wall and, am I hungry today? Thirsty, sleepy, I want to be active, I want to play sports. What mood do I want to be in today? What spirit do I want over my body today? Am I hungry today? Maybe I just have the hunger spirit all day. Maybe I just want to eat all day. No, 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 no. Matter of fact, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Matter of fact, I need some good sleep. You go to your physician on the left-hand side, he peels it up off of the wall and he sells it to you. You know what you do? You have euphoria after. It says weed strands may affect the body different depending on how much THC, right, and CBD they have. Let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the mighty book, right, of Sirach, chapter 36. See, nothing should affect your mood at all. And if it does, you got to question what you're doing. Let's go to the mighty book of Sirach. This is Sirach, chapter 36, in verse number 20. It says, a forward heart cause of heaviness. So if you're evil and you're forward and wicked, you're going to cause yourself heaviness. You're going to always fall in wicked devices. You're not going to move in wisdom, right? You're not going to move righteously. You're going to be prone to go off. You're not going to be in the spirit of the Most High. But a man of experience will recompense him, huh? So you don't want to have that forward heart just causing sorrow and mischief upon yourself. This is Sirach chapter 30 and verse number 25. A cheerful good heart, right? Salaki, I want 24. Envy and wrath shorten the life. So when you in different spirits placed upon you with stress and your mind bad and you can't think right, when you envy and you have wrath and all these emotions on you, it shorten your life, man. It really breaks down your body. You look at certain people, they got bags under their eyes. You look at certain people, they're really 40, they look 60. Then you got people that are healthy. Their mind's good, they refresh, they got a good job they like, they family's involved, they in the spirit, they moving around, they lively. It says, this the point, and carefulness bringeth age before the time. Get careful about everything, and everything's always a mood swing. It's gonna bring age before the time. Meaning you're gonna look older than you actually are. That's why a lot of weed smokers and a lot of people that drink and substance abusers, they look older than they actually are. Because of the lifestyle they live. That's scriptural, man. It pulls you down. You're supposed to look young. You're supposed to have life to you. You're supposed to enjoy, you understand, the fruitness of your youth. You understand? That's Sirach. So like that's Ecclesiastes, right? Chapter 11 chapter, verse 9 all the way down, and Ecclesiastes the 12th chapter. Talking about remember the creator in your youth. It says, and carefulness bringeth age before the time. So you want to bring age and misery and destruction and that type of spirit on you before the time, right? And I was going to touch on this with that Hindu spirit. But you got chakras, your crown, your throat chakra, your third eye, your heart chakra, your solar plexus, right? Your sacral, your root, right? And we're not a people where we deal and we tap into these spirits. There's only one God we serve. Now we don't serve, earth, wind, fire, emotions. We don't burn incense and consult in crystals. We don't do these things. Let me get this quick definition. Now, a junkie, a person who regularly takes and is dependent on illegal drugs. You're dependent and you regularly take it. See, some people are junkies and are addicted to a lifestyle they live. They just always rock and roll. They always clubbing, drinking. They always turned up. This is my lifestyle. A lot of people, they junkies to a way of living, man. Being a dope boy, I'm always on the block. I can't stop being on the block, man. I'm always outside. Women, they always at the strip club. They like that fast money. Some people are junkies with the lifestyle they live, man. You're dependent on a way of living, right? Whether it be an illegal drug, whether it be a lifestyle, whether it be a mentality. It says, especially heroin, right? A junkie is also a person who enjoys or is interested in a particular activity. Like I said, you have sports junkies, that man with the hat on, right? Nate waving that number one, right? That big styrofoam number one. He got the two beers right here and the two straws, so he don't never move, right? He got a toilet, right? He can flush his couch, right? He look both ways. He wipe himself. He never moves from that 60-inch TV, right? It says too extreme. If you want to follow politics, basically you have to become, right, a talk show junkie. Certain people had this type of lifestyle and they move in these spirits. So you have to watch being a junkie. No man of the Lord is a junkie. No man of the Lord is going to be dependent on anything but the Lord, man. Look at these junkies, man. You're greater than that. You're better than that. And if you're watching this and you battling drugs or coming up out of smoking, right, you have every inch and will in your body to conquer that demon. That's all it is a demon. This man on his deathbed still shooting up. You can overcome that, man. See, when you look at certain movies like Ray Charles and a lot of these athletes and or Hollywood actresses and Hollywood actors, a lot of their downfall is smoking, man. A lot of their downfall is crack. Look at Mike Tyson snorting. You had a lot of known crack like James Brown, man. You had a lot of people that sniffed, right? Let me see. It was the downfall of their careers. A lot of people just were high, they were talented. A lot of people that are very talented in sports, they can sing well, but through drugs, through seeking out things that are on the left-hand side, they break themselves down by substance abuse. Right? Let me get this last closing precept. Let me get two more and I'm gonna close out. Let's go to the mighty book of Isaiah. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66. And I'm gonna start at verse number 4. Right? It says, I will, Slakia, I also will choose their delusion. And a delusion could be many ways, man. I will bring their fears upon them. Right? Next thing you know, you like Malcolm X with the SK, man. Like Malcolm X standing in the window with the SK, man. You're paranoid. Think somebody after you. And I really wish that video would have worked because he said that Edomite, he said he started to think his family was trying to poison him, man. He said he would have to stand over his mother while she cooks to make sure she's not poisoning him and trying to kill him. We're not created to move in these spirits, man. See, the Lord is a God of peace. It's not a God of a frantic, scared, fearing, delusional type of spirit. That's not of the Most High, right? It says, and I will bring their fears upon them because when I called, none did answer. And the Lord could call you many ways, man. The Lord's calling you through the precepts right now and the evidence of what's being brought out. Now, you could choose to apply it or you could choose to neglect it. When I spake, they did not hear. The Lord could speak through an ass. The Lord could speak through anybody, man. Experiences. He shows you crackheads in the world. He shows you the outcome of not obeying the commandments or living that lifestyle of the streets. He shows you death. He shows you jail. He shows you the way of life. You just have to perceive and be vigilant and wise and watch these things. Like if I do this, this will come. Did not the Lord say, have thou not marked them, right? Have thou not marked the old way? Look for the old paths and walk ye therein. Did not the Lord say these things? So you have to walk in the old way, man. Stop seeking out these new paths and walking in them and these new wicked inventions. Let me get that real fast in Jeremiah chapter 6. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask. So the Lord said, look, see and ask. I mean, is this good? I mean, should I follow this God? I mean, well, what should I really do? Should I wear my fringes? And I mean, look in the ways. The ways are paths and things that men have been before us have done. And ask for the old path. Who's on the old path? Our fathers. Heritage, life, commandments. Where is the good way? And walk therein. Meaning the Lord is showing you there are many paths, but ask for the good path and walk therein. And ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we would not walk therein. These are reprobates. Men that want to do their own will. Men that neglect the precepts. Men that care about their own feelings and emotions over the Most High and what the Lord said. It says, when I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before my eyes and chose that which I delighted not. So who'll give you over to those, man? Right? The children of Israel wanted meat, and the Lord gave it to them and sent leanness into their bodies. Right? And the Lord's anger was kindled, and the Lord destroyed those men. Right? So let me get the book of Revelation. Closing precept. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, in verse number 2. It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast. Meaning, remember the truth, the precepts, the wisdom that the Lord has showed you over all these years or months you've been in the truth, and hold it fast to you. Don't be like a vessel that can hold no water. And repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come to thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So continue to watch. And if you're smoking weed, thinking about it, battling it, or just through education and edification, are just going over this so that you can warn a brother, right? Continuously go into research. Don't be foolish, be wise. Repent. And first and foremost, you have to increase your fear of the Most High. That's the answer of all things. Like it says in Sirach, the first chapter, it driveth away sin when you fear the Lord. And where it's present, it driveth away evil. So you want to have the mentality to increase in fear in the Most High. But with that, I want to close out giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach Malak Yahushua. Shalom.